So, hello everybody and welcome back to s.c.aviation. Today we're gonna do a complete pre-flight for a flight in the Airbus A330 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is gonna be all the way from flight planning. Enjoy! Alright, so before going into the simulator, we first have to make our flight plan. So for that, I'm gonna go to simbrief.com, where I have already created a Navigraph account, which I actively use. And here in SimBrief, we're going to go to New Flight, and we're going to generate the flight plan for our flight. So if you already know how to do this, you can just skip the video, but for now, I'm going to be flying ATA Airways, whose call sign is ITY. We're going to be flight 1578 from the airport of Sierra Kilo Bravo Oscar in South America to Rome, Lima, India, Romeo Foxtrot. The alternate is generated automatically, departure time also automatically, and the aircraft type for today is the Airbus A330-900. Here we go. The variant is the Headwinds simulation A330-900. We want to have a fairly efficient flight, so I'm gonna set a cost index of 0 so that we are very fuel efficient. These are the default selections. That is all good. This is the flight plan layout, the units kilograms, flight rules, instrument flight rules. We want step climbs, ETOPS planning, NOTAMs, runway analysis, and all of this. The departure runway is preferably gonna be 14 left. I know this airport very well, and I know a flight like that would take runway 14 left, or 14 right, but probably 14 left. And we want to go full on passengers. The rest is going to be automatically calculated by the software. Fuel planning, this is all good. This is also good. This is going to be a route for today. And this is fine. Great. So now we click on generate flight. And there we go, there's our flight plan fully calculated. Cool. So let's look at the briefing preview right here, which is what pilots will do in real life. So we're flying ITA 1578, December the 8th, 2023, from El Dorado to Fiumicino in Italy. Cruise system is const index 0. We're flying an A330-900. This is the registration of the aircraft. And these are gonna be the flight steps. So we're first gonna climb to flight level 330, then 35, then 37, then 38, and then back to 18. So that would be already our descent. Block fuel is 69.8, probably 0.9 tons. This is in kilograms. There we go, this is all good. This is going to be a routing for today. We're taking the Zipaquirá 5 hotel departure. Block time is 11 hours 21 minutes. And we're going full on passengers, 436 passengers for a takeoff weight of 241.7 tons. That's below the maximum takeoff weight, so that's all good. And below that, these are NOTAMs. We should look at the NOTAMs, but we have like 20 pages of NOTAMs, so it's nonsense to look at them. We should still, if we were flying in real life, look at the NOTAMs of the departing airport, and like the very important ones, but we're not going through that today. So let's skip to the maps. In the maps, we see we are not taking the North Atlantic tracks because those are up here, and we're going more or less through the middle of the Atlantic, not through the northern part. We have some thunderstorms in the vicinity of the route, but none of them through the route, and we have good winds here. You can see we have some good wind currents. So if we look at the top of the flight plan, we should see that for the majority of the flight we have an average wind component of plus 41 knots, which is quite good. Still looking at the maps, we do have some thunderstorms arriving to Europe over here. There are usually thunderstorms here because of the high winds that are generated in that area close to Europe in the North Atlantic, and you usually see those clouds. And then we also have the jet streams going down here, so around Spain we should expect quite high crosswinds. And this is all. We are first climbing to 330, about 1/5 of the flight climbing to 350, and then a slow climb all the way to 370 and a 380 before going to 18 and then top of descent. Good. So now that we have looked at our flight plan, we can go ahead and go to the simulator. Great. So let me stop sharing the SimBrief section. There we go. And now we have the simulator. So let's go to world map. And last time I was flying the Celeste Cup, but this time we are flying the Airbus A330. Or are you? Here it is from Headwinds Simulations. The liveries. Since we're flying to Italy, the most logical livery is the ITA Airways. And we are departing from Sierra Kilo Bravo Oscar Airport, that is in the country of Colombia. It's called El Dorado International. That is like saying the Golden International, something like that, because El Dorado means golden in Spanish, or well, it would like literally mean the golden, or the golden one, or something like that. But anyway, this is the national terminal, and we're taking the international terminal today, of course. So I'm taking gate maybe this one, 34, set as departure. Flight conditions are gonna be live, not multiplayer, no air traffic. Here we go. So let's fly. This is gonna be very fun. The first A330-900 Neo was delivered to TAP Airport to go in, I didn't read the year. Has a range of, wow, 7,200 nautical miles. Cool. So, from my experience, what takes up the most of the time is loading passengers. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, oh, hold on, is right here in the simulator, turn on the electronic flight bag, and let's import the SimBrief data. And the first thing I'm gonna do is fueling the aircraft. So we're gonna request the fuel from the block fuel from SimBrief. So we have 69.900, and the airplane was already quite fueled, so it's not gonna take a lot of time. But this is the first thing we have to do, because we can't have passengers on board the aircraft while the airplane is being fueled or defueled. So that is why that is the first thing we request. In the meantime, let's power up the airplane. So we need to connect the external power. So I'm gonna connect the jet bridge, external power, request the fuel truck, catering truck, cargo door, baggage truck. There we go. And so now that we have the ground power, we can request the ground power here. There we go. Defueling is, let's do instant. There we go. So 69.900 kilograms of fuel on board. So now we can go ahead and load the passengers, because this is gonna take a long time. So begin boarding. There we go. Expected time for boarding 18 minutes. Wow. Okay, so we can go ahead and do our pre-flight. So let's start here from the top of the panel. The ELT must be on, and we test that. Good. All the way here, test the APU. Auto exiting. And any other test buttons we will press. Okay. Data loading selector goes on. Let's align the ADIRS. Check that all this is in the correct position. That is checked. Checked. Test this. Cruise reply goes on. All this is correct. Now let's go through this panel. Let's test engine number 1 fire. Oops, APU fire. And engine number 2 fire. That is working. Now we're gonna go with turning on the fuel pumps and the battery. Good. Good over here, also good over here. Turn on the navigation and local lights. And also the wing lights, why not? Some lightings to the panels. Emergency exit lights are armed. I'm gonna go full bright on the dome light. Now over here, we check that this is in the correct position. This is also in the correct position. Check cargo smoke. Checked. And the overhead panel is set. Continuing down to the pedestal, we're gonna unlock the door. Give this some light as well. Good. And now I'm gonna go straight to the MCDU. So we go to FMC. We check the nav data. It's the active nav data from the 30th of November to the 27th of December. And today is December the 8th, so we are current. So let's now go to init, and we're gonna import the data from SimBrief. So init request, public insert in progress, that is so good. And let's align the IRSs. Something's not working here. Oh, it's working. Oh yeah, it's working. Okay. So next page, we are gonna set the zero fuel weight, which in this case is 172.3. That is also automatically filled from SimBrief. And block fuel is 70.9. Now that doesn't sound quite right. So let me check the flight plan again. Block fuel was 69.9, so we have to change that. 69.9 block fuel. There we go. So this is correct. Now let's look at the flight plan. From El Dorado, we are taking runway 14 left according to the flight plan. And the departure was the, if I'm not mistaken, SIP5 Hotel departure? Yeah, SIP5 Hotel departure, there we go. So we insert that here, SIP5 Hotel. And the transition was direct to SIP, so no transition. No transition. There we go, insert. And we have a discontinuity there. So we're gonna clear the discontinuity. That is because we didn't select a transition, then the aircraft is detecting a discontinuity. But that is not a problem. Departure calculations, it's gonna be, oh, yeah. Flaps 1, we're not using flex temperature because that is used by the airlines to reduce the engines at takeoff, and we don't have that kind of charts here because we're not a real airline. So I don't know which temperature to set. However, I think they would set something from like, what, 30 degrees or something? That is basically telling the airplane to assume that the outside temperature is higher so that they derate the engines. But we're not using that today, so let's calculate B1, 155, BR, 162. Wow, those are quite high speeds. And V2, 168. Even more given the fact that we have very high takeoff speeds. I don't want to use flex temperature because I want full power at takeoff. And this is more or less everything for the MCDU. Let's look at the boarding, how it's going. 60 passengers on board. Okay. Look at that. beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Airbus A330 from ITA Airways. Okay, back to the cockpit. So I'm gonna check page by page that everything's set. So progress page is good, performance page is good, init page set, data page set, flight plan page. We are not gonna select the arrival or the approach at Rome because that's probably gonna change through the flight, so we're gonna leave all like that. But there's one thing that we can do. So we go to plan mode for the navigation display, and then we go step by step here to check that, oh, hold on, yeah, to check that the route is properly set. So good, 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 good. Let's do a little bit of zoom out. Good, 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 and there, all the way until we need to set the approach. So back to arc mode. Let's select constraints. VOR1, VOR2. Terrain and navigation display as well. And yep, cool. So this is set. Right nav, fuel prediction. This is set, this is set, and this is set. Now let's request the weather. So we go to ATSU, and then AOC menu, and then weather request. METAR for Bogota. Oh, what is that? Format error. Okay, something's not right. Maybe it's better to do it via the ATC menu. So grant request. I don't remember how to do that. Maybe it's in digital ATIS here. No, it is airport receipt. Oh no. 8 cars? No, I don't think that's via the 8 cars. Wind data? No, because that's wind. We want weather. I thought it was via the ATSU. Come menu. Data link. We don't have any received messages now. Oh, there we go. Wind data uplink. Oh, no, I get it. We must select here the sending, and then we should receive a message here with the information data. Yes, that is correct. And we also get here in the panel a company message advice, which is very cool. So now we check this one and print. This is the coolest part of the simulator. And now that we selected print, it's gonna print here. How cool is that? There is the meter. Let's take the page and look at it. This is so cool. Okay, so we have winds 140 at 6, visibility unlimited, few clouds at 3,000 feet, temperature 182.9er, QNH 1028, and no significant changes in the next hours. So QNH 1028, let's select that. That is in hectopascals because we are in the ICAO section. Only the US uses inches of mercury. So 1028. And that should match the airport elevation, which is 8,360 feet. So it is indeed matching the airport elevation. We're initially climbing to flight level 330, and in the main page I want to have constraints, and on the co-pilot page I want to have airports and full range, like that, and ADF for him, VORs for me. Good. Now let's give this a little bit of lighting, like that. Yeah, there we go. Some brightening over there as well. Good. You can see how we are progressing. Let's look at how the boarding process is going. 137 passengers. That's okay. So let's continue setting up the aircraft. Overhead panel is set. This panel is set. Squawk code for today. Let's squawk the date, maybe. 120, and oh, we don't have 8, so it's gonna be 1207 then. 1207. There we go. And I believe the cockpit is set. Let's do a flow. So going all the way up, this is set. This is also set here. This is also set there. This is set. Yeah. Looking from here, that is all set. All set. All set. All set. All set. Yeah, all set. So, in the electronic flight bag, we're gonna go page by page to check. So this is our general information for the flight. This is the flight plan, which is gonna be very handy throughout the flight. Boarding information, we're going there slow. Calculations and charts. So in the departure airport, we want to pin the airport chart, parking stance chart, and in the departure information, the Zipaquirá 5 hotel departure. Where are you? There we go. Zipaquirá 5 hotel departure. Good. Okay, we have no traffic online on VATSIM. And checklist: cockpit preparation, gear pins and cover have been removed. Fuel quantity, we have 69.9 tons on board, which is higher than the block fuel. Checked. Seatbelts on. ADIRS nav barometric reference is 1028 on both. 1028. Cockpit preparation checklist is complete. So, while the boarding is completed, I'm gonna go through the takeoff briefing. So, Airbus A330-900 from Bogota to Rome. We're currently at gate 34 in the international terminal. So we are over here. We expect to make a push to spot 14 facing southwest, right here, and we are expected to taxi then. Since we have no ATC, this is going to be the route I'm going to come up with. So the Bravo 6 is too small for us, so we are taking from spot 14 Bravo 7 and then Alpha all the way to holding point Alpha 1. I'm taking Alpha 1 at runway 14 left. The runway is 12,000 feet long. That is good, although we are at a high elevation airport. We are at 8,000 feet of altitude, so that it might be long, but it's not that long when you think about how long it's gonna take for the airplane to accelerate. And then on takeoff, whoops, sorry, we expect the Zipaquirá 5 hotel departure. So what is that? So we are gonna take off at 9,100 feet or above, at which we have to be over Vorko. We're gonna turn left to intercept the 027 radial to Guksun, maximum 185 knots until the turn is complete, and then 230 knots at Guksun, and then continue the departure to Zipaquirá, where we have to be maximum 260 knots and above 15,000 feet. The initial climb is actually 217,000, correction, flight level 210, but since we are, well, since today we don't have ATC, then we're fully cleared. Transition altitude is 18,000, and let's look at the remarks. Caution, east-southwest mountainous terrain at or above 9,800, starting 20 nautical miles from Bogota VOR. Okay, and Bogota VOR DME and SIP VOR DME is required. We do have those. Good. In case of engine failure, we will continue the turn to the left and then immediately continue to the left towards Bogota VOR to join the approach again for runway 14 right, which is the preferred runway for emergencies. So we're not taking 14 left, we're departing 14 left, but in case of an emergency we're landing 14 right. Okay, that is important information. Reference for the airport minimum altitudes over here. Those are quite high minimum altitudes, but we should be fine as long as we reach 14,000 and 15,000. We should be clear of all this mountainous terrain over the airport, and due to noise we are required to do that left turn at Vorko to avoid noise over the city. Okay, so the departure briefing is complete. Let's go back to parking stands. And it all seems correct. I'm gonna speed up here at boarding a little bit in the meantime, and let's prepare for pushback. So for pushback we should turn on the APU. So APU master switch goes on and start the APU. No smoking goes also on. Beautiful, beautiful airplane. I love it. Oh, we haven't done the outside check. Do you want to do the outside check? Let's do it, guys. So this is the coolest part of the simulator. In the camera, I'm gonna select the showcase and free camera. And so here we're going to pretend that we simply go over here all the way to the back and then exit the cockpit via the stairs right here. And now that we do the outside check, so we start over the front gear, check that the gear is in good conditions. It is. Look at the wheelway bay. Okay, anyway, let's continue. Over here, looking at the airframe, looking at the tubes, which must be clear. Okay, let's look at the engine. The engine looks good. And let's go all the way to here. And the wing looks good. The lights are turned on. The aircraft looks to be in a good state. We have all the antennas complete. Let's go all the way back. And we have that light turned on as well. Look at how nice it simulates the rudder, which is deflected by the wind. I'm not doing that input, but it's simulating it. We have cargo doors properly closed. This gear is in good state. The wheel bay is also in good state. Now let's look at this wing. Both lights are turned on. Good. Right hand engine is good. These lights, landing lights, are properly. These tubes are okay. They are clear of any contaminants. Cargo door is also good. pitot tubes are good. Oh, now let's look at the airplane from the front. The nose is clear and clean, so we're good to go. So now we enter the airplane again, walk up to the front on the cabin, and we're magically in the cockpit again. That was fun. Okay, how is boarding going? We are almost fully boarded, and the APU is available, so we can now disconnect ground power.
Completed.
Boarding completed, guys. Cool. So disconnecting ground power, disconnecting the fuel truck. And since ground power is disconnected, we can disconnect external power. APU is ready, so we're almost ready to go. So since boarding is completed, we can take away the jet bridge.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight.
And all doors are closed.
So
let's also close the cockpit door.
Then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing.
Cockpit door is closed.
That you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you.
The jetway has been removed.
Ask. Welcome aboard.
So we're ready for pushback. Pushback system goes on, and let's call the tuck. And we must now turn on the beacon light. No smoking also goes on. There we go. And before there is a push truck being attached to the airplane. And before we continue with that, let's go ahead and do the before start checklist. Parking brake is, since the push truck is with us, we can disconnect it. Parking brake is off. Takeoff speeds and thrust. B1 is 155. B2 BR 162, V2 168. On both. Windows closed. Beacon is on. Before start checklist complete. Okay, so parking brake is off. We are completely ready for pushback. Aircraft is disconnected. Beacon light is on. Let's get out of here, guys. Alright, so starting push. Nice. Now the procedures for this airport state that you can start the engines once the nose of the aircraft is not pointing to the terminal. So we have to wait for that. Let's speed up this a little bit. And ooh, let's have a nice passenger view. Look at that. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so now that the nose is no longer pointing towards the terminal, we can start the right engine. So engine mode selector goes to start, and starting engine number 2. If you guys are wondering how am I controlling the direction, I'm doing that via my rudder pedals. The system automatically detects the rudder pedals and I can use those to control the pushback. And also we are at an airport where pushback is controlled by spots. What that means is that when you push back, you have to push to a selected spot. Those spots are very carefully chosen so that they don't block taxiways. They are good for aircraft, for big aircraft, while other small aircraft are operating, and all that. In this case, we're pushing down to spot 14, which is this spot right here that you see there, and the pushback procedures state that the nose of the airplane must be at the nose wheel must be over the spot. So engine number 2 has not started. Why? Because we didn't give the engine air, since the APU bleed was not turned on. Okay, small mistakes that everybody makes. Now the engine is starting. Let's continue the pushback. And there we are, almost over the spot now. And right there. Parking brake on. Stop. Push. And waiting for tug disconnection. In the meantime, we have a good start on engine number 2. So let's start engine number 1. Tug is disconnected, so pushback system goes off. Goodbye. Bye. Have a good flight. Well, that's what he's saying to us. Engine number 1 starting. Meanwhile, APU bleed goes on. APU goes off, APU bleed goes off, and APU goes off as well. Outer brake max for in case of rejected takeoff. Speed brake armed. Flaps 1. Engine mode selector normal. And flight controls. Elevator full up, neutral, full down, neutral, aileron full left, neutral, full right, neutral, rudder full left, neutral, full right, neutral, flight controls checked. And after start checklist, anti-ice off, ECAM status checked, pitch trim, pitch trim 0, exactly 0 here. Rudder trim neutral. After start checklist complete. And taxi checklist, flight controls checked, flap setting config 1. Radar and predictive wind shear system on an auto, so we have to go to the pedestal here and select predictive wind shear system auto, water radar system 1, GCS auto, and multi-scans auto. Good. Predictive wind shear system on an auto, engine mode selector normal, ECAM memo, it should say takeoff no blue, and it is not saying that. Why? Who knows? Anyway, takeoff config check. And there we go. Takeoff no blue. Ecam memo, takeoff no blue. So taxi checklist complete. So now let's taxi. So let's check the airport here. Airport diagram. Set full screen. And it's gonna be Bravo 7 and then Alpha. So nose goes to taxi. Beautiful. And let's go. Parking brake off. And we are gonna turn right here on Bravo 7 and then Alpha. So let's give the engines a little bit of power. Nice, nice. Turn left here on Alpha. Good. And look at this beautiful airport. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. So right now taxiing through Alpha, and we must go all the way to Alpha 1. QNH 1028. Let's check if the weather information has changed. No, QNH is still 1028. Good. In case you guys are wondering how am I controlling the airplane, I have a joystick, which an incorporated wheel, which I have set up as the throttle. I also have a steering wheel from a driving game, which I'm using sideways as the steering control for the nose of the airplane on the ground. And I have a set of rudder pedals, which are the gas and brake pedals of the driving set I told you about. I set those as the right rudder and left rudder. Pretty clever, huh? Okay, so it's gonna be Alpha 1 here. So all the way to the end of the runway. This is Alpha 1. There we go. Okay, entering an active runway. Strobe lights go on. And transponder TA array.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Yes, flight attendants, prepare for takeoff because we're taking off very soon. Line in runway 14 right here, 14 left here, sorry. Whoops, 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 whoops. We overshoot that a little bit. There you go. Set the brakes. Parking brake. And lineup checklist. Takeoff runway checked, 14 left. TCAS on, PAX 1 and 2. They should be on for the takeoff. But since we are at a very high altitude airport, I'm turning them off. Engine 2 bleed and okay. PAX off. Yeah, that's better for the takeoff. Okay guys, is everybody ready? I hope you are, because we're going bye-bye. %, stabilized. Takeoff. Mantoga SRS runway. $80. 100. 1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Gear up. Nav. Whoa. Whoa. Autopilot 1. And starting that left turn. Level climb. Climb thrust set. And let's look outside. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is my home city, and so this is a sort of mountain that is in the city, and you can go by bike and climb on it. It's quite fun to do it. This is a golf park. And this is the main highway to go north. This is another golf park, if I'm not wrong. Okay, but let's continue on the airplane. So this is a pre-flight tutorial. So I'm gonna stop it like in some minutes after we climb. And flaps up. And PAX on. Ground spoilers disarmed. good departure. Wow, there's a little bit of turbulence there. Look at that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, guys, that is how you do the pre-flight and takeoff for an Airbus A330-900. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.